Shout out to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Let's go. Ark Omega, an overhaul mod with thousands of versions of every creature in this game, all of them with crazy abilities. This is one of my most favorite overhaul mods in Ark, and there has been tons of updates since the last time I had played this. Now, I have two major goals I need to complete before the end of this video. One, of course, being defeating the final boss, the Aztek boss. And the second goal is a bit of a unique one. I need to make the strongest dodo ever to celebrate our new line of Dodo Gang merch that just dropped. This 100 days journey was wild. So without further ado, welcome to my 100 days in Ark Omega. Welcome homies and homettes to another Ark modded adventure. We are playing on my favorite map of all time, Ragnarok. And man, I am excited. We freshly spawn in Viking Bay, a pretty easy spawn location. Ooh, what is this? A gamma knockback dodo. What the hell is that? Harvest 2,500 common resources? Yes, the new Lost Colony DLC has come in, and I don't really know if I'm going to be using much of these skill tree things. We get tools straight off the rip. Yes, because we're playing on Omega, we get free tools straight off the rip. Oh, it's just like a multi-tool. For the first time in one of my playthroughs, I started my tribe straight away. Of course, we named it Dodo Gang. Represent. To get some easy cheesy levels, I crafted up some of my chibis. What is that? In Ark Omega, you're going to hear some rather creepy noises, but we can't worry about that right now. For now, I had to make a reusable spear so we can murder some of the local creatures. Things do not feel very safe at the moment. Some of these dinos have some magical abilities that are quite scary. Okay, there's all these magical abilities happening in my vicinity. We do not want that. I managed to fight and destroy this wood dodo. It exploded right in my face as if it was Johnny Sins. I mean a creeper from Minecraft. But when I harvested it, I got some wood, some sap, and some thatch. After gathering a few resources, I placed down a little starter base. Just a couple foundations. And then I needed to gather some hide so I can create a forge. This little Delta Siren Dodo can donate us some hide. Unfortunately, these compies came and stole some of it, so we didn't get quite enough. So of course, I had to use them to get me some hide. But there was a slight problem. This is Omega, and even the smallest creatures can have some pretty powerful abilities. I'm so dead, bro. You brought your friends along, didn't you little punk? Can I bully your ass and get you out of here? Nope, I bullied the wrong one. I then respawned in a random location, quickly realizing I should probably put a bed down in my new little base. And maybe a storage box so I can store some of the stuff that we've been gathering. Before placing down a refining forge, I had to gather some metal. And the only place I knew I could get some easily were from these river rocks. Now it's time to place down the forge and start cooking up this metal. Whilst the metal cooked, we went out to do some exploring in the local vicinity. Found this green supply drop and I had some pretty decent stuff inside it. Hey. Actually, it's not terrible. We made it through to day 2 without too much trouble so far. Oh, shoot. I ventured further on into the jungle, but I ran into some scary creatures. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the test. This is the ultimate test. Will it attack us? You might be wondering, why are none of these creatures attacking us? They are typically quite aggressive. You see this buff icon down here? It's called the newbie buff. And for a large period of time at the start of playing Omega, you've got a buff that makes most creatures ignore you. What? I thought I was invisible. I thought it was all creatures, but it's clearly not. Fight the Anki. Fight the Anki. It also buffs the chance for dinos to drop special items as well. Please don't fight me, bro. Problem is, you've got to kill them first, and that's easier said than done. Ah, yes, you fight the Starfire Anki. Ooh, who will win this battle? Battle of the Beasts. Oh, Anki, you're going down, bro. You are getting wrecked. I am out of here. I was searching to find some more metal nodes, but came up empty-handed. I need a better way to traverse around the map. And I know the perfect way. A reusable parachute should help, and eventually a grapple hook. But first, I need some cementing paste. In order to get myself some cementing paste this early in the game, I'm going to need this mortar and pestle. And now I need to get myself some chitin. But on my search for chitin, I ran into a metal dodo. No, this is a bit of a stretch, but if we can manage to kill this thing, we might actually get a lot of resources by killing a metal dodo. Oh, shoot. And I'll give you 3 guesses on what this metal dodo gives us. All right. This is goated amount of metal. And if you guessed metal, you were correct. Yes, metal dodo coming clutch. It also dropped some loot that we could pick up. Unfortunately, it's kind of broken in this mod, so you do need to add another mod to be able to pick stuff up, called the loot grabber mod. I just haven't installed the loot grabber mod just yet. We need the loot grabber mod for that exact reason. You see, like stuff glitches through the floor. After a quick server reset, we have now added the loot grabber mod. and found our first victim that can supply us some keratin. You know, keratin and chitin, it works the same. And a couple non-consensual stabs into the butt, we turned this overgrown blue squirtle into a Sonic the Hedgehog and put it into a swift, permanent sleep cycle and gathered a measly amount of keratin. It's okay though, because it was enough for us to be able to make some cementing paste that we could use to craft our very first grapple hook. Yes, grapple hook. And the grapple hook paired with our parachute helps us traverse this map so much easier and quicker. But before we go any further, I need to tell you guys about today's sponsor, War Thunder. In my downtime for some fun casual gaming, I like to jump into a couple rounds with War Thunder, flying some of the coolest, most realistic fighter jets of today's modern times. Now, if you have no idea what War Thunder is, let me briefly explain. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and is available now for free on PC, console, and mobile devices. You can control tons of different tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships. Immerse yourself in the most intense battles in War Thunder, where incredible detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects place you right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. Play with your friends, or if you're brave enough, jump into some PvP matches and play against them. War Thunder now has a mobile version, which is available on Android and iOS, so you can play anywhere and anytime. War in the palm of your hands. One feature that I personally love about this game is that each of the vehicles have like detailed hitboxes. So if I shoot at your engine, I can take out your engine. If I shoot at your wing, I can take out a wing. If I shoot at different parts of the body, like each one has different hit points as well. It's a pretty cool feature. Now here's the thing, War Thunder is completely free. You don't have to pay any money for it. You have nothing to lose. You can download this right now, PC, Xbox, Android, iOS, for free. And if you hit my link in the description below for new and returning players that haven't played in the past 6 months, you will receive a massive bonus pack, which includes 100,000 silver lions, 7 days of premium access, and a whole lot more. This offer is only available for PC and console users. Sorry, mobile. So go ahead, you have nothing to lose. Click my link, download War Thunder now, check it out. Just do it. Why not? I don't see why you wouldn't. Thank you, War Thunder, for sponsoring this video. Day 3, we approached this supply drop and scored some free armor. Ooh. Yo, I'll take some armor, bro. But more importantly, we found an Ascendant PT saddle. With my brand new armor obtained, I confidently scaled this side of this mountain, where we encountered some dragonflies that I could take down to get some chitin. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to aggro that. My bad. My bad. He's coming. That was an accident. Pure accident. I will fight you guys though. I will gladly fight you guys. After safely escaping the Bronto's grasp, I was able to take down these dragonflies and harvest their large insectoid bodies for their valuable chitin and mix it with some stone in our mortar and pestle to turn it into that juicy cementing paste. It's probably time that we start taming some dinos. You see, Omega has such a complex progression system that I'm gonna have to explain how things are gonna work. In order to do so though, I need to craft this, the Omega workbench, so I can craft Omega items, specifically the Omega kibble machine. This is a pretty fancy new thing, I ain't gonna lie, and that looks cool as hell. Okay, let me explain how this works. There are 12 different variants of creatures, all with various different abilities. Some complement others, some work as a great damage dealer, some work as great tanks, and some can be good support units as well. And each separate variant of creature comes with different ranks as well, starting with basic, leading all the way up to the Omega level. Now I hope that all makes sense. Let's move on. Before heading out to the dangerous wilderness to start trying to tame something, I'm gonna need some armor. And in the Omega workbench, you can kind of get some special armor easily. Oh yeah, set tokens. We could get some good armor off the rip. What do we got? Okay, I could get with that. Okay, nature damage resistance, immune to collective and bleed damage. Yes, I forgot that this was a thing. We can rock some armor, some decent armor quick, and all we need to do is go like fight thing. I'd pinned a pteranodon on the map, but I can't quite make the kibble just yet. I need to gather up a few resources before I can make the kibble. Hey, what did I just pick up? Magic charm, movement speed increased by 2%. Some of the resources that I needed right now was dino souls and dino essence, and the only way to get it is by murdering things. You're not doing much damage to me, are you? That's that buff that I got on, right? Yeah. No idea what I got, but I'll take it. Day 4, I realized it was a lot easier to kill some creatures on foot whilst I still had my newbie buff available. Now, although I should be preparing to tame some creatures, I wanted to take this time to make some new armor. One of the great things about Ragnarok are these wooden boxes, where we can get some really handy early game items. Sword? Bro, we got a sword. That's pretty good. With my sword in hand, I could live out my fantasy of pretending to be Roronoa as the greatest swordsman in history. I managed to run into some traffic light colored compies and beat their asses. Kinda, they hurt a lot. Stupid little colored compies, freaking traffic light wannabes. Managed to take out a red Listro that gave us a magic charm. Damage taker reduced by, whoa, stamina increased by. Goated, much better. As far as I currently know, the newbie buff really only helps when you're on foot, and this is how we get some early good armor. Day 5, and we're continuing our murderous serial killer hunt, encountering different dinos with all different abilities. But thanks to our new armor and our new weapons, we were even able to take on a pack of Allosauruses. Psych, they were kicking our butt. I obviously had to make an escape. I then had a slight big brain moment. With my newbie buff, I should be able to approach some beaver dams and get some cementing paste, hopefully without too much trouble. I should have really looked at its health before I started fighting this. This could have been a bad idea. Let's gap it. Let's just try and steal some cementing paste and get our ass out of her. Yo, that's plenty. That will keep us busy for a little bit. Although we did get enough cementing paste from that previous beaver dam, this giant beaver dam was just way too tempting. Greed really took a hold of me. I grabbed this other beaver dam, and thanks to this alpha raptor that was nearby, it kept all the other beavers busy while I took on these ones. Alpha overlord raptor? Yeah, later, bro. No, bro. We are not sticking around for that one, bro. Alpha Overlord Raptor. Get out of town. We are not sticking around for that. I parachuted away, and then we saw this. Is that a griffin? Now, although griffins have been in ASA for a while, they're actually only native to Ragnarok. That's why this particular griffin does not yet have an Omega variant. But I do have some trank arrows, and this could mean for a very good early tame. Do it. Go to sleep. Nice. What kind of meat we got? Oh, we got some prime. This lion chicken was laying in a rather awkward position with his neck cranked, but we need to wait, and hopefully nothing comes to kill it. Just my luck, the beavers came hunting for me. They were still angry about me stealing their cementing paste, I guess. You guys followed me all the way down here? For what? Do 6 damage to me? I made sure to draw them far away from the griffin and find a nice space for me to perch up and wait for the griffin to successfully tame, which thankfully didn't take very long. Our very first tame was this griffin. It's not a very good griffin, but having a flyer is always a massive advantage in this game. Now our focus must be to tame something from Omega, and I searched around the dino finder to see what was around. Specifically a pteranodon. We spotted an ice PT on the map that wasn't too far away from us. From here I crafted up some narcotics that I could then turn into beta sedatives that I could make stronger trank arrows, all in preparation for us to be able to tame our very first Omega creature. Day 6, I made this ethereal spear. I want to test out some of these weapons to see which one kind of suits my playstyle, and then went on the hunt to tame this ice pteranodon, our very first Omega tame. I missed that? Oh bro, I'm so bad with a bowler. That's it. That'll do. Ooh, bro, did I almost kill him? I then fed this pteranodon its required kibble and bullied some of these weaker beings while we waited for it to tame. Took a little while to tame, and I was kind of worried that something might come through and kill it. You see, even a Dilo that's a higher rank than this would murder it in one bite. With that being said, I just left render until it was fully tamed. I took a quick pit stop in this ice cave right here to collect some crystals so I could turn them into dino balls, so that once the PT was fully tamed, I could put the griffin away in the soul ball safely and then ride the PT. I did have the expectation that this pteranodon would be a little bit better than its vanilla counterparts, but I think it's exactly the same. It just has one special ability. It spits ice out of its butt. I was able to bring our brand new ice PT back to base safely. Now I think it's time that we move on from our little starter base. First, I'm gonna have to gather up a whole bunch of resources, and I decided to build our forever base right next door. This little bridgeway in Viking Bay is actually the perfect location in my opinion. It's a pretty fun place to build, I reckon. We finished building the layout of this base on day 8. Well, just the foundations, really. Why did it take us so long? Well, because I didn't use my typical penile layout. And because this is taking so long, I really need to focus on moving forward. So that's why I'm creating this. This is the egg collector. And if it's not very clear on exactly what this thing does, well, it collects eggs, specifically from Omega dinos. I can tame a specific dino and integrate it into the egg collector, then it will passively generate me some eggs that I can then turn into kibble, so I can tame the next rank of that particular variant dino. Hopefully that makes sense. Here's a quick look out of the little layout that we've done so far. We'll fill it in eventually. But for now, I need to craft up some basic kibble so I can go tame some things. I want to try and work on either cosmic, rage, or elemental creatures right now, because those creatures can deal the most damage. And we need killer type dinos so we can get some more souls and some more essence later. Now specifically, we need to try and tame female dinos. Our first victim, friend, is going to be this female psychosis parasaur, one of the rage variants. On day 9, I raced back to our base and integrated our brand new rage dino into our egg collector and immediately gained a rage basic egg, which means we can craft delta rage kibble, moving up in the ranks just like that. I ended up making a basic nature kibble as well because there was a female thunderstorm parasaur nearby. And just like that, we ticked off another one of our creatures that we could integrate into our egg collector. Right next to our base was an elemental dodo, but there was also something else, a dangerous compy. Oh my God. Now, me dying isn't too much of a problem. We do have the death recovery mod in this as well, so we could get our stuff back. But the big problem was our ice pteranodon. Yeah, that was kind of unfortunate for it to die, but we do need to still move forward. And this blue listro, part of the cosmic variants, is the perfect tame for us. Not too far away was an elemental carby. Listro. My goal right now is to work through the ranks of these variant creatures. We can currently make delta kibble for a few of these different variants, but as I was minding my own business, crafting up some of these kibbles and searching for our next victim, this happened. No! Fuck. Yes, the Dilo bit the butt of that ice burst parasaur, which in turn killed my griffin. We have now lost our very last flyer. So on day 10, I went to go try and tame another flyer, quickly realizing I still suck with throwing these bowlers. There we go. Got him. We did manage to score this Delta Nature Pteranodon. Stat-wise, this is probably the best creature that we've had so far. In the greater scheme of things, it does still suck, but it'll do for now. Found a female lightning triceratops, and as I was trying to tame it, it started running away and then fell asleep in a rather peculiar position. Now, I should put this into my egg collector, but in this situation, I didn't want to. I wanted to put it in our dino storage place for 2 reasons. Hopefully, it'll produce eggs in there anyway, and because as a triceratops, it should produce medium-sized species that we could eventually turn into fertilizer. Now, with that done, it's on to taming some more creatures. Let's get this Gorgon. This Gorgon mythical triceratops, this one's going to go in our egg collector. Then there was this harvesting dodo, but taming this thing wasn't quite as simple as the other. You see, as I approached, it got stuck in this singularity. No. I tried my best to get it in one of these dino balls, even though we were both stuck in this singularity. It didn't seem to work, and once we were released from this black hole, we realized it was now dead. Day 11, I had the bright idea of heading over to the wyvern trench to see if I could snag myself an easy egg. I don't see no wyverns. Oh, I see one. I have to admit, on Ragnarok, this wyvern trench looks amazing. My pteranodon was quite fast, so dodging these wyverns' attacks was quite easy. But as I searched around all the wyvern nests, I realized that there was none. It seems like in Omega, you can't grab any wyvern eggs. And because I had been here for so long, I got a little bit overconfident, and of course, this happened. Oh, shit. Well, that happened. I still had the newbie buff available, so the wyverns then ignored me even though my PT was dead. So at least I was able to escape. I continued exploring to see if I can find a PT or something that I could tame, and then I kept making my way to the east and found this. This island is new. Okay, big ass elephants. Dinotherium. It's quite refreshing to see that they have made a few changes to this map. Wow. So pretty and ugly. Can I ride you? Let's go for a spin. Get my ride on. Getting my ride on. It's like Thailand all over again. Less animal abuse. I spent a large part of this day just exploring around this new area. It seems quite peaceful with a lot of herbivores and nothing too crazy, I guess. But it's probably time for us to start heading on home. I just tried to find the highest peaks that I possibly could and used that to parachute back and made my way to this pteranodon so I could tame it. I then successfully tamed this Delta Psychosis pteranodon and began flying back to my base. Day 12 and I want to make a fabricator. But we're missing a core ingredient. Yes, oil. We don't have any, and we need to get some. Thing is, I kind of forgot where to find it on the Ragnarok map. So I just searched around basically everywhere I thought it could be. I also ran into a very annoying bug in this game. I don't know why this happens, but for some reason, my pteranodon can't land on the ground. I think it has land on the groundophobia or something. And this issue became quite the problem when we got hunted down by some mantises. Oh my god, this game is broken. We were frozen in place, and I was worried that my pteranodon might die. I didn't have the newbie buff, so I had no advantages here. I did have this boomstick club that I had made, and that seemed to do the job. Thankfully, these mantises weren't very strong. On the plus side, I did score some organic polymer and some chitin, but we're still on the hunt for some oil. This time, I figured maybe I'll try underneath my base, because hopefully there's some in the water. Oil, I just need some oil so I can make a fabricator, because I don't remember where to go. I'm gonna have to Google it. I used my grapple hook to try and get deep into the ocean floor, but of course our oxygen levels wouldn't allow us to go very far, and neither would these megalodons. I then had to search up the U of tubes to see exactly where to find some oil, and surprisingly there's some on the land right near our base. Right here we could collect some easily and return back to our base with our spoils. And just like that, we now have a fabricator, and with said fabricator I could then make a power generator. We're certainly moving up into the world now in the age of electricity. The very next morning I began working on our little farm. We're gonna need vegetables if we want to make some of the higher tier kibbles. I'm going to need some fertilizer if I want to fertilize these crop plots, and a dung beetle should solve this issue. A basic variant is pretty easy to tame too. All I need to do is knock it out and feed it the required kibble, instead of typically having to hand feed it some poop. Dung beetle now successfully tamed, it's time to bring it on back home with my pteranodon that refuses to land, and place it into the depot terminal to turn some of this poop into fertilizer. Now back to my crop plots. I actually don't have any vegetable seeds, so I'm gonna have to go and get some. Thankfully I can gather them quite easily with the harvesting tool that comes with Omega. I had also picked up one piece of fertilizer from killing something in the wild, so at least we could begin the process of growing our first crop, which just so happens to be long grass, which is the only vegetable I need to be able to progress to the gamma tier of creatures. Now whilst we wait for some fertilizer to create and some crops to grow, I figured we'd go out and try and tame some things, or bash the heads in of these lesser beings. Day 14, I tamed a moss chops, and not just any moss chops, a metal moss chops. You see, there's resource variant dinos that can passively generate certain resources. Metal variants obviously produce metal, which I'll demonstrate shortly. But for now, we need to go and tame this Dimorphodon, a Delta Rage variant. And with this Dimorphodon, we'll then be able to make a Gamma Rage Kibble. But with the metal moss chops, I wanted to put it into the dino storage to see if it will produce metal inside that. Next, we tamed a Delta Cosmic Dimorphodon, and then opened up our Omega Dex, which is basically a massive information dump of stuff that you can learn about this mod. But specifically, I wanted to look at the egg chart to see exactly how we're progressing in all of our eggs. And it's obvious that we have a long way until we can get to the elite tier. With that being said, this Delta Lightning Raptor might be able to help us get there, as long as its jealous boyfriend would leave me alone. Don't worry, I just dealt with it like I deal with the jealous boyfriends in real life. Smash him over the head with a club, then I drug its girlfriend and then bring it back home with me. For legal reasons, this is a joke. Day 15, I checked in on my dino depot terminal and noticed nothing was really happening. We weren't getting any metal, the dinos weren't pooping very much to create fertilizer. It's not working. And with the little bit of poop that was in there, the dung beetle wasn't turning it into fertilizer. I needed to come up with a different plan. But for now, we'll tame this Listro. Hey, buddy. I then checked the kibble machine to see what I needed to make some of this gamma kibble, and I had everything except raw prime meat. Damn. Now, I did know that stegos could give us prime meat, but killing them was going to be a little bit tricky. I didn't want to risk my only flyer and my only real tame, so this is my only option for now. Of course, this mission was about as successful as you would expect. I realized quickly I need a tame that can help us kill some things. Maybe something like a Rex or an Allosaurus. I checked my kibble machine and saw that I could craft some gamma kibble. I crafted up a gamma cosmic kibble because that's just something I figured would be good for now. Now, this isn't a Rex or an Allosaurus, but it's the best thing I could find on the map. I figured this cosmic trike might be a good tame if it survives this fight. No, my trike's gonna die. Oh, that's why you're gonna die. Yeah, you're so dead, bro. We'll soon find out that this becomes quite a problem. All the tames we want to tame die quite easily because they're such a low rank and a low level. Thankfully, we found another female gamma cosmic trike on the map, in a safer area as well. This is a comet trike, which means it can drop a comet straight out of the sky and land it on my head. I needed to move around rapidly to try and avoid that attack. See, I can't stop and I can't think, because if he drops this comet, I'm surely dead. I did my best to dodge and weave as much as possible, but ultimately got hit by it. Oh shit! Damn it! So I flew on back and began shooting it once again. This time I managed to knock it out successfully and managed to secure this gamma cosmic triceratops, which I immediately integrated into our egg collector. Day 17, we knocked out and tamed this gamma fireburst carby. But whilst I had knocked it out, I noticed that there was another dino nearby that I could possibly tame. This gamma brutal dilo. Knocking this out was rather simple, but the problem was I didn't have any rage kibble on me currently. So I had to quickly make a pit stop back at base and whip up a kibble real quick, which allowed me to tame this dilo. And now I could integrate two gamma dinos into my egg collector. I went to check the depot terminal just to see if any fertilizer had been making, and without any fertilizer, I'm unable to grow any of the other crops. I checked the mod configuration to see if there was a problem there and couldn't seem to work anything out. I needed a different solution, and I think I can do it by taming a certain creature, and that particular creature is a farmer creature. They come with an ability that can help us farm our crops. That's why we're hunting down this farmer mantis, which I happened to knock out and feed the kibble. Its friends weren't too happy that I hit it though, and he went full sleeping dragon, hidden mantis on me, and destroyed me. To give you an idea of exactly what the farmer variant does, this is it. Farmer dinos are invaluable to having a base. They will be passively pick up poop, dropping it back, ready further, or to distribute the crops. I apologize for all the mumbling. Basically, a farmer will convert poop into fertilizer and distribute it to all the crops. Now, this farming mantis should help us solve all of our issues. Except when I went to go get it, no! Yeah, it died. Maybe this farmer Tapajara could help. Of course, it's never going to be that simple now, is it? No, you. This was certainly extremely frustrating, but all I could do was desperately look around our dino dough finder to see if there was any other farming dinos that I could possibly tame around the map. And we may have actually found the perfect farmer dino. Don't be near dangerous things, please. This farmer Phiomia will do the job quite nicely if we can manage to tame it and get it back to base safely. Couple arrows into its butt, fed it the required kibble, and locked it safely away in a dino ball. Just like that, we managed to get this farmer Phiomia back to base safely. You will be our first named dino. Farmer Bob here, hooked you up. Yes, I'm reporting to Judy with the booty. Now, Farmer Bob here will tend to all of our crops. All I need to do is fill him up with some poop, and he'll produce us some fertilizer eventually. Best thing about Farmer Bob being a Phiomia as well is all I need to do is just make him poop out some poop with some stimberries, and he's basically just a massive fertilizer machine in himself. I also saw that another utility dino that could be perfect is a harvesting variant. Apparently, they can harvest anything, and I figured that harvesting Argentavis will be absolutely perfect. I mean, it would be perfect if I could knock it out in a safe location and not get eaten by this Carno. Oh my god. Day 20 and I'm running low on souls and essence. So all the little weaklings around the map, I had to kill them. I even decided to take on this prime tier dodo. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? Oh, did you think I was going to die there? No, I didn't. I killed it. What do we get? What is that? This is a brutal variant soul. I spent the rest of the day just basically farming stuff, getting different items and souls and essence, all that kind of stuff, you know? And since I'd gathered a bunch of essence, I could open this chest. Just as a quick explanation, in Omega, chests can appear across the entire world. And if you have enough essence, you can unlock them and get different items and resources and all different stuff. Day 21, I shoved some stimberries down Farmer Bob's throat, giving him violent diarrhea. This is the perfect farmer dino, it's a Phiomia. He creates his own poop. I then crafted up the upgrade bench. Yeah, I added this mod. Yeah, I really need it. And went ahead and upgraded my metal pike. I learned that I could upgrade the Omega weapons as well. But whilst I was upgrading, I ran out of resources. So I needed to try and find a way to get some more of these resources. I remembered that I did have some high tier saddles that I could probably grind up. And Omega comes with its own type of grinder, the dimensional grinder. Dimensional grinder. This should help us get a lot more resources together. Put a couple of these saddles in there, grind them up, and voila, we have a whole bunch of resources. With these resources, I then went ahead and upgraded our crossbow. This will definitely assist us in knocking out some of these creatures as we progress through this mod. Day 22, and I crafted up a few more of these early set tokens, hoping that I can complete a full armor set. You see, if you add different pieces to the same armor set, you can get certain bonuses and skills and stuff. So it's always in your best interest to try and get a full set of whatever armor. I had also made this rainbow boomerang, and since I'm Australian, I figured this might be the perfect thing for me. Tested it out against these creatures, but honestly, it wasn't really that good. It did though make this parasol disappear into thin air. Ultimately, our Ascendant Metal Pike is just significantly better. I then came out to the wilds for one single mission to try and knock out this Beta Earth Argentavis. But yeah, I got killed by some compies. Day 23, we found a beta fire dodo hidden amongst the shrubs in this jungle here. It tried to spit some fire at me, but unfortunately it can't rap, so I drugged it and put it to sleep. Beta fire dodo in hand, we can now make alpha elemental kibble. But there's a problem. We need meat jerky, which means we need to start cooking it up in a preserving bin, and that takes time. And oil and spark powder, which thankfully we have on hand. Now I also realized we're going to need a ton more meat. if I want to make some more jerky. And I have no way to get around the map, so that's why I made this glider suit, so that we could go and head out and try and tame a carnivore that can help us collect some more meat. And this Gamma Rage Rex should do the job for now. Honestly, at this point, maybe even my spear would just do well. This Arneo stood no chance against me, but hey, we tamed this Rex, so we might as well use it. Managed to take down a few creatures along the way and collect some juicy meat. It's only the Gamma tier, so I did have to be a little bit careful on what I took on. I didn't want to fight anything that was too out of our control, you know? Day 24 and a little guest entered our base area.
This is just opportunity. Need a PT and this will probably do the job.
Whilst the PT peacefully slept, I then filled the rest of these crop plots with the required seeds that we are missing.
All right, we've got all of our planters with seeds. They're growing.
Pteranodon now acquired. We can hit the skies and pick up our next creature that we need to tame, which is this queen bee, because we need to generate some honey back at base. Now, what exactly do we need the honey for? Well, to be able to make the alpha kibble, we also need vegetable cakes. And honey is a crucial ingredient to making vegetable cakes. Turns out you can actually fly these bees as well.
Okay. No idea what's going on here, but this does not look right. Oh my lord. Bee mating rituals. I mean, take it with what you will, but that's kind of weird.
Now, another resource that we need to be able to make vegetable cakes that we don't currently have on hand is tree sap. So our next mission, obviously, is to get some tree sap. And the only place that you can passively generate tree sap is in the redwoods. Well, redwood style trees at least. So we set up a tree platform on this tree right here, set up some sap taps, and let them do their thing. With us waiting for some ingredients to cook up, I figured now would be the perfect time to go out and do some exploration. I'm extremely familiar with the Ragnarok map, but I wanted to see what had changed in ASA.
All right. Let's look inside this way. Whoa, the Wyvern Trench hole is much bigger. Okay. That's cool. A sunken ship. Some tools.
I can't lie, I was kind of hoping to see if I could steal a wyvern egg. And yes, I did kind of know that they're not available in Omega, but I was just hoping maybe something was different. With extra time on my hand, I wanted to speed up the production of our honey a little bit. The best way to do that is, well, by taming another queen bee, obviously. Now, back at base, I had made this weird contraption looking thing. And if you don't know what this is, I'll explain it in game.
This thing here is a resource collector. So if I integrate the metal moss chops, integrate, it will now produce me metal. We need to find an element one. I did another check of our egg chart to see exactly what we needed to progress. And again, we have a long way to go.
Day 26, and I'm stealing cementing paste, but this time for a very good reason, trust me. I want to add some metal pieces to my base. I want to kind of fortify it a little bit. After seeing how scary some of the dinosaurs are in this world, I don't want my base to get exploded, and this is kind of the strongest material I can make right now. I couldn't afford to make my entire base out of metal, so I just made sure that all the foundations under all my crafting benches were covered by metal. And of course, it was time to actually enclose this base in. Turn it into a real home, you know? Rearranging some of our crafting benches to put them in better places, and added some greenhouse roofs for our crop plots. Day 27, and we're still working on this base. I want to make sure I complete this before we move on to anything else. And day 28, we had somewhat completed this. This was my masterpiece. Well, it kind of looks a little scuffed, but we do get there in the end. It obviously needs a little change, and I'm gonna make that change right now. This at least makes it kind of fit all together. I don't know, you tell me what you think in the comments. But spoiler alert, we do change it up a little bit, and it does look a lot better much later. First, let me give you a quick tour of our base.
We can come up here and then we can just fly wherever we need to go. But then we go down these stairs right here. Got a little crafting area, all of our like Omega, fridges, egg related stuff. The void vacuum that collects all the stuff that falls on the ground. Forge, Omega workbench, smithy. These are kind of in the same place. Probably need to move that bed. But the balcony, you know, with a great freaking amazing view. Fabricators over here just inside. Grinder. This thing's like a resource thing. Upgrade bench. And I figured we'd kind of leave this space open in case I want to have some dinos out and about and just keep them safe inside. I don't know. I know there's certain dinos that need to stay out, so I'm probably going to move the giant bees over to that hitching post over there. Oh yeah, up here, obviously our greenhouse.
With all that being done, we had wasted enough time that we should have enough jerky and honey and everything to be able to go up to the alpha tier dino. Our next step was to craft up some vegetable cakes, which we can now craft quite easily. I then crafted up my first alpha quibble, which was elemental because kind of all we can do right now. But as I was searching around the map, I saw that there was a beta meteor parasaur on the map. So I took this as an opportunity to tame a beta cosmic dino, which is obviously easier said than done. Obviously, I didn't give up on this task. We still knocked it out in the end. Day 29, I came to tame this alpha fire carno, but just as my luck would have it,
No, died.
it got killed by a pack of aloes. Either way, if I want to get myself to the elite tier, I need to get myself an alpha female elemental dino. Will we be able to safely tame this alpha lightning packy? The answer is maybe, as long as I can get rid of these Rexes. I think my luck ran out on this one. Eventually, we found this alpha earth triceratops. And even though I got knocked around a little bit by getting hit by some of their friends, I managed to knock it out and safely tame it. Now, I didn't integrate this new tame into our egg collector. Instead, I put it to work. It was great at collecting berries, but even better at killing things. Alpha tier creatures are significantly stronger than basically everything below it, which makes sense. So my next mission is to tame this alpha singularity pteranodon. Cosmic dinos are some of my favorite dinos, as most of them typically have AoE attacks, which means I can collect a bunch of essence and a bunch of souls quicker and easier. Also, on the side, I tamed the spiritual dodo, ticking off one of the eggs that I'm going to need for the ethereal variants. Now, my pteranodon being a singularity pteranodon, it does this ability. It's a real shame its life was short-lived. Oh, what do I mean by that? Well, you'll see. No. Sometimes it really feels like you're 1 step forward and 3 steps back. Welcome to Ark Omega. Day 31, I had to repair all of my armor. Yeah, most of it's broken. It is what it is. And to avoid it getting broken any further and to give us a little bit of an advantage, I upgraded all the armor that I was currently wearing up until the Ascendant tier to give it some more durability and obviously an armor bonus. I needed to stock up on some prime meat, so this Bronto needs to go down. And thanks to our brand new high tier trike, we can do this easily. Now, I'm really enjoying this new Earth trike, so I decided I needed to give him a name. And I think the most fitting name is this. He's yellow. He's a trike. We're gonna name him Bart because he's like got the spiky hair and he's yellow. Now, since I'm down a flyer, I had to get my good old Gamma Psychosis Pteranodon out. Using him, we came over to this Griffin and tamed this. This being a level 145 should be a pretty good tame for us. Bro, said I only wanted 1. Okay, whatever. We have a Griffin again. Day 32, new Griffin in hand. It's time to go and tame something new. This time, we're on a hunt for a resource dino, specifically the Pearl variant. We found this Pearl Stego, but it was getting attacked by a fire-breathing T-Rex. Oh, I wonder who will win this fight. Obviously not the dino that we need. Of course, you killed my fucking Stego. Maybe this Pearl Raptor's an option. Now, since I'm riding a Griffin, I can shoot off the back of it. So I use this to be able to shoot it and knock it out. But of course, this trike wouldn't allow us to get this Pearl dino. Yep. It did die. Oh my god. You know what? You know what? I just don't think we're allowed to get pearls. Yep. I don't think we're allowed pearls. Some bullshit. To switch things up a little bit, I decided to go and try and tame this Pteranodon. It's an alpha supernova variant, so it should be pretty damn strong. Thank you. To avoid losing my Griffin to any unnecessary risks, I decided to glide all the way back to base. But along the way, I noticed that there was a Pearl Trike and nothing scary that might kill it around it. So I lined up my crossbow, shot at it, and ran away before all of its friends could kill me. I'm sorry, I just put him to sleep for you guys. Just chill out, man. He was annoying anyway. He's all like white and creamy. Now, I didn't have any resource kibble on me, so I had to glide all the way home, where I'd get out my brand new Pteranodon and crafted some basic resource kibble. Then flying on the back of our brand new Pteranodon, I flew back over to this trike, fed it the required kibble, and tamed it. And since we're currently in a taming mood and I had the kibble on me, we found this summoner Argy that I'd go ahead and tame. We are on such a roll, I managed to tame this Banshee Argy, which is of the Nightmare variants. But whilst I was waiting for it to tame, I spotted this in the distance. That's an element Quetzal. If I can manage to tame this element Quetzal, I will then have unlimited element. There's a slight problem though. It's Delta tier, and we don't have a basic tier resource dino yet. So as soon as this Banshee Argy is tamed up, I go ahead and tame this Wood Microraptor, which I can bring back to base, integrate into my egg collector, and then make Delta resource kibble to be able to tame the Quetzal. But before doing that, I wanted to check out exactly what I had tamed so I can integrate them all. Pearl Trike, you go there. Boogeyman RG, you just pop over here. Random Argentavis. Now, to make taming this Quetzal a little easier, I figured I'd make this net gun. Probably should have done this a long time ago, but you know what? It is what it is. As I was flying back to this Delta element Quetzal, a big burst of fire appeared in front of my face. This then made me realize that where it drops out of the sky could be dangerous. And I don't want something to eat it. This is an important tame. So instead of net gunning it, I shot it until it started running away, until it got to a place that I was comfortable in it falling. Stay stuck, stay stuck, stay stuck. Please stay stuck. We have a problem. We're not dealing enough, Torpor. I made the rookie error of not having enough trank arrows on me currently. So I had to quickly come back to base where I made elite sedatives. Basically the strongest knockout arrows that I could possibly make. Now, Quetzal had become unstuck, so I needed to knock this thing out and just hope it didn't land in a place that was dangerous. 6 shots, cannot waste them. Want to herd it this way.
Push it that way. No, 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 not that way, not that way, not that way, not that way, not that way. You're gonna fall there. Fuck. Oh, please fall in the waterfall. Not on the griffin.
This was certainly not the most ideal place for it to fall. There were saber-tooths on the ground and a griffin nearby. First, I needed to deal with this griffin. I didn't want to risk it killing our Quetzal. Yes, thankfully these saber-tooths were trying to kill a resource dino and don't have the ability to be able to harvest it, so they'll be stuck there for a while. This gave me the perfect opportunity to be able to tame this Quetzal.
Get in. You stupid idiots.
Element Quetzal now obtained.
There's our element Quetzal. I'm integrating you straight into that. Oh, I got to integrate the Pearl one too.
Day 35, we test out our new PT's abilities, and they seem to hit pretty damn hard. Although the Supernova ability out of all the cosmic abilities isn't really my favorite, but we need to progress. So I crafted up some more veggie cakes and went out to tame this female Alpha Comet Mosh Chops. This is the dino that we're going to integrate into our egg collector. Now we could have integrated our Alpha PT, but I want to use that as a flyer. Now a quick update on all of our eggs.
Yep, cosmic. We got basic, delta, gamma, beta, alpha, elite. I don't know if there's any point in getting an elite to like have eggs. Elemental, we can go to alpha. Mythical, we can go to gamma. I had no idea we did not have unstable.
Now I do want to get one of every basic variant creature, which is why I'm taming this farmer Enki right now. Well, trying my best to.
No! Bro, if I lose this freaking Pteranodon all because of that, I'm going to be pissed, bro.
Our PT had survived, but unfortunately the farmer Enki died. But a certain item dropped here, so I wanted to go pick it up. And it turns out to be a pretty decent one as well.
Oh, what do we get? Oh, unique icicle.
Day 36, I was kind of getting sick of this little layout of our base. It didn't look exactly how I liked, so I downloaded a mod that could change all of that. This is a new skin mod that comes from Aaron Longstaff, and I thought it looked pretty damn awesome. So I had to change my entire base into this skin. And oh my lord, I am extremely happy with how this looks. This is what our base looks like now. I'm extremely happy with this. It looks epic. Even our interior just looks a lot cleaner. This volcanic fiery look is epic. I even have a lava waterfall inside my base. It looks cool as hell. Our base might be epic now, but we still have other things we need to do to progress, like taming this unstable raptor. Day 37, and I managed to tame this harvesting parasaur, which means we have now completed the entire basic tier of creatures. Now, why is that so significant? Well, basically, now we can craft unique kibble. And what exactly can I use this unique kibble for? Well, there's certain creatures around this world that are unique creatures, and some of them come in multiple variants. We will tame one later on, but for now, let's go and do this. Tame this Alpha Wind Doedicurus. Day 38, I really needed to murder this elite dodo. Now, yes, maybe I should consider taming it because that's what we should do, but no, I really need some elite essence right now. Now, why exactly do I need some elite essence right now? Well, it's so we can make some really strong elite sedatives. But I soon realized we had unlocked metal arrows, but not the elite tier of metal arrows, which requires us to make a compound bow. In general, these metal trank arrows do significantly more torpor damage than the normal arrows, and taming these higher tier creatures are going to require a lot more torpor damage. Next, I made this unique totem. This storage container is where all of my unique items will go. Obviously, something like my icicle pick right now, but I'm going to keep it on me because it's good. Now that we're at the elite tier, I need to tame something extremely strong that can help us progress. Something that will eventually upgrade through paragon leveling and then evolving into the ultimate, prime, and so on and so forth. And honestly, this elite gamma mantis will be absolutely perfect. Managed to chase it down, finally knock it out without dying, even though I got chased down by a stupid pyromane. Just like that, we have now obtained an elite mantis. I couldn't be bothered flying back to base, so I went around to murder some things until I could fight something that could kill me. Damn. Then I got an instant teleportation back to base and got to enjoy my new mantis. It's already day 39 and I only just realized that these medallions can go into a separate slot. I actually thought this whole time they had to go into the same slot as the charm. Next, I went ahead and made myself this mantis saddle, which of course I upgraded it as much as I possibly could to make sure my mantis was safe and secure. Also, one other reason that I tamed the mantis is so that I could give him my unique weapon. This will make all of his attacks significantly stronger since mantises can hold weapons. I went ahead and named my mantis, of course, because he's going to be our best friend for the longest time. Skip.
His name's Skip.
And then went to go test out his strength. Skip is also a gamma variant, so he drops a big pillar of light that does damage, that absolutely shreds through this Apex Listro. This unique weapon really came in handy, freezing some of our enemies. After a fun killing spree, we managed to level up our Mantis quite a bit, but what we really want to do is try and paragon our Mantis as much as possible. And all of these little tasks here are ways that we can increase the power of our Mantis. For example, we can get paragon souls and just feed it straight to it, or we can kill a whole bunch of the same species, meaning I could kill a whole bunch of other mantises and get more power, or just killing creatures in general. But before working on that, I wanted to place down a tech replicator that we had somehow unlocked. It's kind of random, but when you're running around the world, you just unlock random tech engrams. I don't know exactly how that works or why, but it just does. Now that we're the elite tier, I would like to make this reliquary. You see, if one of your creatures dies, it will then just respawn in the reliquary, but at a lower tier than it is. So if it's currently an elite tier dino, it'll go back down to an alpha tier, but you don't actually lose your creature. That's the bonus. I just don't have enough resources to be able to craft one just yet. So hopefully Skip doesn't die until I can make one. Now with all the information we now know, day 40, my whole goal was to just go out and kill creatures until we can get some more paragon levels, making our mantis as strong as possible. I was specifically looking for other mantises, so I could get paragon levels that way, as well as killing everything. It was certainly a lot of fun just going out killing things and finally dominating after getting my butt kicked so much. But we weren't invincible. Even this massive Colossus Megalania was quite a tough fight. But then we encountered our worst enemy.
Oh shit.
No, get out of here. No! My Mantis died to an ultimate version of a Mantis, and I didn't have a reliquary, so it is now gone forever. Day 41, and I set up one of these teleporters. Yeah, this little pad here, it's a teleporter. We're gonna need it to be able to get around this massive Ragnarok map. I then needed to get myself some polymer, and instead of crafting it, we went to kill some penguins so we could get some. Now, outside getting polymer was kind of difficult, but if we went inside this cave, there's penguins that are just all by themselves, and pretty simple when taking down. This do be some pretty easy organic polymer. Now, what exactly did I need all this organic polymer for? Well, it was so I could upgrade my compound bow. Day 42, I crafted up some beta tier metal arrows. These are the highest tier arrows that we can currently make, since we're not a high enough level to be able to make anything higher than this. Then we went out to go and tame another elite tier creature. This elite ice burst Argentavis. Just as I was about to knock it out, it flew away, and then it fell asleep in a rather scary position. I used my glider suit to follow it down to the ground, managed to feed it some kibble, and then I ran into a pack of Allosauruses. I then used my glider suit to kite these guys away, and whilst I was waiting on this rock, the Argentavis had fully tamed up. So even though these Allosauruses were still chasing me around, I managed to put this Argentavis away safely in a dino ball and escape safely on my Pteranodon. Now the question remains, is this Argentavis a good tame or not? Let's find out. Being that it is an ice burst creature, it has an AoE attack that obviously shoots out ice, which is quite effective. Day 43, I was just out and about causing mass murder to all the creatures in my vicinity. That was until I saw this.
What are you? He says he's wood, but he doesn't look like a wood.
Mans literally says that he drops a unique saddle when killed. He's just asking to be murdered.
Oh, I got a unique saddle.
I then flew to a place that I felt that I was safe and then checked this saddle out.
A metal horn saddle. Consume this saddle token to receive a metal horn unique saddle for Triceratops. Primitive metal horn. This is going to hurt the both of us. What? Gains metal variant. It reflects 300% increased variance stat multiplier. 100% increased damage taken. Oh, what?
Yes, you see, unique saddles are a massive game changer in this mod. You're gonna need them if you want to fight the tough bosses towards the end game. Now, I kind of don't want to have to tame a trike. I've done that in previous videos, and I want to do something a little bit different. Again, like I said at the very beginning of this video, I want to make the strongest dodo ever. So we're gonna have to try and find a dodo unique saddle eventually. So this unique saddle is just gonna sit in our unique totem. For now, my current focus is to try and paragon level this Argentavis, but the Ark gods were sending me signs. We found a paragon Triceratops on the map, so I had to kill it to get its paragon soul. Day 44, we found a paragon Parasaur, which we had to kill so we could get its paragon soul. Now, the way that these paragon souls work is pretty specific. You see, if you kill a Parasaur paragon, then you can only paragon Parasaurs. Triceratops only for Triceratops. But all paragon souls are worth it. And to end this lovely day off, I made this. This is the item fragmenter. And what does this do, you may ask? Well, you can break down certain Omega items to get fragments. and those fragments you can use to upgrade certain stats of certain items. It's a bit of a complex mechanic in this mod, but that's just basically how this works. So on day 45, I grabbed a bunch of items that I don't plan on using ever and broke them down into separate fragments. I'm currently quite low on cementing paste, so I went out to try and tame a snail. But first, I needed to find one that I could pick up. They all seem to be engaged in battle. The swamp in a vanilla game is not very friendly, but then you add Omega variant dinos, and oh my god, this place is dangerous. Like, typically you'd think an elite level Argentavis would beat everything. No, that's not the case. You see, a miracle dino like this, well, it's a very rare chance that you'll actually hit it when you're trying to attack it. They have a high dodge mechanic. Well, that is until I can use my ice burst ability, and that takes out most of the things around us. We didn't actually manage to find a snail until day 46, and I wasn't going to tame it here. I needed to pick it up and bring it back to base. The swamp is just too crazy for us to be able to tame it there. It'll probably get killed, or I would. I don't know. The snail may have shivered away cowardly in its shell, but it stood no chance against our metal arrows. Now we just gotta wait for it to produce us some cementing paste. Oh, fun fact, you can ride these things as well. Day 47, and I made some changes to our server. I needed some extra mods just to kind of help us out. We were struggling. This right here, the Omega Teleporter. It's different to the current one we have. It's like a separate mod. And we added this obelisk, which is the Omega Dino Storage. It's better than the other storage. The other storage isn't working like I had hoped. With that being said, all the dinos that we had stored away in our dino storage, I went ahead and put away in my Omega storage, which is this ball of light thing. I don't know, it makes me look like I have magic powers or something. It's pretty cool. And the menu system is pretty easy and simple to use as well. Next, I was finally able to make myself a chemistry bench and an industrial cooker. But the biggest game changer was this, the soul furnace. It's behind our broken furnace. It doesn't actually look like that, which means we no longer need these preserving bins, because in the soul furnace, not only can it craft metal ingots, it can also cook meat and cook jerky. Next, I placed down the chemistry bench, made sure it was completely powered, and the industrial cooker right underneath our stairs. It fits quite nicely. Back to the soul furnace, it's time to cook up a bunch of our metal. Now, the only way to power the soul furnace is with dino souls, which can be kind of expensive, but later on you get a lot of souls, so it kind of works out. I then found a really important creature on the map that we have to tame, an elite Starfire Pteranodon. I landed on the ground, made sure to put my RG away safely, then shot it with this net gun, which was all fine and dandy until I started shooting it with our trank arrows. Of course, I had to race back to go and get this Pteranodon. But before trying to tame it again, I wanted to place down this teleporter just in case we died. And it's also good to have a teleporter out here in the redwoods. We're going to need to come back here quite often. This elite tier Pteranodon only required one more single arrow, and it was down. Just like that, we managed to tame one of my most favorite Pteranodons in the game, the Starfire Pteranodon. Day 48, I spent most of the day searching around the map, finding places to set down these teleporters so we can get around the map a little easier and quicker. Day 49, we stumbled across this Rex, and it was just standing completely still. But more interestingly, it had a ring around it, and its description explains that it's going to drop a unique saddle once we kill it. So of course, well, duh, I had to kill it.
It drops a unique saddle, this Rex, apparently. Come on, Rex, give me the saddle. What kind of saddle are you going to give me? I'm assuming it's going to be a Rex saddle. Either way, I'm grateful for your sacrifice, Mr. Obsidian. Yeah, buddy. What do you do? A unique Rex saddle. Even chained up, I'll do my best. Unique bonuses: gains obsidian variant, 200% increased melee damage, 70% increased attack and movement speed, permanent, cannot move. Ew! There's always a catch.
This saddle's low-key kind of weird. I don't think I'm ever going to use it, but it's still cool that I got a unique saddle, I guess.
How does it have 70% increased movement speed but cannot move, bro? What the fuck?
I finally returned back to base and decided I'm going to breed my Pteranodons together. What I'm hoping to achieve is to try and get an elite Starfire Pteranodon that's got high stats and high levels and all that kind of stuff. But because one of these Pteranodons is a supernova, there's a chance that one will be a supernova. We prefer to just have baby Starfires. Also, through breeding, you have a chance of getting paragon levels on the bred dinos. This is why there's a lot of advantages of breeding your dinos in Omega. Next, I crafted up one of these googly-eyed gorillas.
Creepy, weird, monkey-looking thing.
And finally, the reliquary.
We'll have to like register stuff to it. Your kill tames we send here in cryopods.
Now we have some sort of security for all of the tames that could possibly die. I then placed down these Omega mannequins. This is where we can store unique armor sets that you can get from this mod. You can even set it up that you can drop all of your items on the ground and certain item sets will go to these certain mannequins. It's a pretty cool function in Omega, not gonna lie. I really need to progress, and unfortunately I had to bite the bullet. There was an opportunity that we could not pass up. I needed to get all the way up until the elite tier of Guardian variant creatures, because that metal horn trike saddle is actually really good if we can get a reflect trike. It also doesn't hurt to try and tame all the other variants as well. It's just good to have higher tier of different types of creatures. Omega has a ton of RNG, so you kind of just have to work with what you got, and it's good to just be prepared anyway. It's been a little while, and it's now time to hatch some of our Pteranodon eggs. None of these babies in the first lot were really that good. Oh, except this one. Oh, we got a Paragon on a Starfire. Let's go. Day 51, we got a whole new batch of Pteranodons. Is that got 2? Bro, twice Paragon. Oh my god, we are so in business, chat. Now that we have a twice Paragon Pteranodon, these other little babies, well, they need to go. With the inherited breeding Paragons, you can only get up to 10 Paragons. And whilst we're breeding, I figured we'd go and tame some more creatures. And go and visit one of our newest homies that just joined the server. It's Dark. We, of course, invited him to our alliance. Day 52, and our Pteranodon breeding is going quite well. Alright, so we've got a Paragon 2 and Paragon 1 Elite Starfire. Elite. So, in theory, we're only going to produce elites. We also had another friend come to my base. So, of course, I had to make him join our alliance. Join the alliance. Join us. Join the alliance. Omega egg check. We're doing quite well, but I still need to tame some more creatures, like this Alpha Collective Dodo and this Alpha Siren Dodo. Day 53, whilst we're flying around, we encountered a rather large ring. What is this? Oh my god. Ultimate miracle. There was no way that I would actually be able to kill this thing. Because it's a miracle dino, it has a high dodge percentage, so it's actually quite hard to hit. And with our little Starfire attack, it doesn't really do a lot of damage. Yeah, ain't no way, son. Ain't no way. Later on in the day, we went and found this Delta breeding Megatherium. So I knocked it out and tamed it. I figured a breeding dino might actually be helpful since we're doing a lot of breeding now. I don't know exactly what it does, but it's called breeding dino, so you'd think it helps, I guess. The Omega Dex is extremely helpful in these situations. I could read through the features and see exactly what the breeding dino does, and it seems like it gives like an Oviraptor egg buff, but it also can reset mating times and speed up the mating process completely. Day 54, and we're up to the elite tier of the Guardian dinos. So we went on the mission to tame this elite resilient trike, but along the way, I got into a fight with these overgrown pigeons, and one of them dropped a unique saddle. Seems like a pretty decent saddle if you ask me. Now, this isn't the resilient trike that we're after, but it's a reflect trike. And if you remember, the trike saddle that we got earlier gives a massive bonus to reflect trikes. We had no option. We had to tame this beast. Luckily for us, this elite resilient trike was a female. And since they're both trikes and both Guardian dinos, we can breed them together to make the ultimate reflect trike, which is exactly what we did on day 55 when we brought them back to base. This day was just a big day of breeding, trying to get more Paragon levels for our Pteranodons, and breeding our trikes until we got 2 reflect trikes that we could breed together and then get Paragon levels from them. I was soon notified that there was a Paragon trike on the map, but as I approached, this happened. Hey, where'd my Paragon trike go? It just poofed out of nowhere. But we also saw that there was a unique dino on the map called Lust, and everybody needs a little bit of lust in their life. If you know, you know. Day 56, and this is the saddle that I mentioned earlier, just as a little reminder. Let me understand this trike saddle a little better. Metal horn gains the metal variant. It's a pretty confusing saddle, but to give you guys a little bit of context, because it becomes a resource variant, it does have damage reduction to it, but it increases the amount of damage taken. It's a super weird thing, but the most important part of this saddle is that if it's worn by a reflect trike, it gets a 300% variant stat multiplier, which will make it incredibly strong. So that's why we're purely focusing on trying to breed the strongest reflect trike possible. And this trike breeding process is taking up a lot of space, so we needed to expand our little breeding area, which took me on to the following day. Obviously, I had to try and make it look a little pretty too, I guess. And our demonic looking lava castle is coming along quite nicely if you ask me. We have now got a Paragon 3 reflect trike. Sure, it's not 10 Paragons, but we're running out of time. This is a 100 days challenge after all. I went ahead and named this trike Kimbo, and this is going to be our main trike for the rest of this video. Now, I do realize that one of my main goals in this video was to get the most powerful dodo ever, which is still our plan. But when you have a saddle like the Metal Horn saddle and you're trying to progress through this mod, you kind of just have to work with what you're given. We will get the best dodo possible, But for now, we're just killing things so we can get some essence and souls to make this process a little easier. A great way to get some souls is by opening these chests. Day 59, I put a teleporter down outside my base so that Flurry could come and visit, even though the lazy bastard just lives right over here. Yes, that's his base right there. And since we're checking out bases, I wanted to go check out one of the other homies that joined the server. Now, this base belongs to Nugs. It's quite a distance away from my base, so we just teleported right over here. He built in this cave right near the highlands. And honestly, this cave looks pretty damn nice. It's gorgeous. He'd also tamed a few of these brand new bisons. I would tame them, but this is Omega, and they don't have any Omega variants, so they're kind of boring right now, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, moving on, I upgraded our metal horn saddle to the Ascendant level and placed it on our Kimbo.
Put this saddle on you. Apparently, you're going to get big. You got big. Oh my god. Are you gonna fit out the freaking door? Bro doesn't fit out the door.
I place one single saddle on its back and it turns into Gorlock the Destroyer. 3 paragons in, is it strong? Let's find out. 17,000 damage per hit. Yeah, we're in business, baby.
Dinos do not want to be around you.
But this is only the very beginning of Kimbo's journey. Our goal right now is quite simple. Just kill everything and anything, especially if they're bigger and stronger than our trike, and if they're trikes themselves. You see, there's multiple killing methods to be able to get paragon levels. You can kill dinos in the wild, you can kill the same species as your dino, or you can kill dinos that have a greater shard value. Now, let me explain what the shard value is. It's basically like the strength of your dino. Our trike is a shard value of 3, and an Allosaurus is a shard value of 6, which makes it greater. But a dodo is like a shard value of 1, so if you kill that, it means nothing, kinda. At the end of the day, it's in your best interest to basically just kill everything. And sometimes you might get extremely lucky and get another paragon trike that you can kill and get a paragon soul.
Triceratops paragon. Eat a bitch.
And increase your paragon levels as much as possible. Day 61, and I wanted to use the imbue workbench to try and imbue our metal horn saddle, and went ahead to try and re-roll the imbue, but it appears this does not work. It is what it is. Anyways, we went ahead and looked through the saddle list in the Omega decks to see what other saddles we could possibly get. These are all the different trike saddles, and honestly, some of them are really damn good. But the dodo ones, that's what we really want.
Pocket Dodo Rex gains Colossus, gains Armored, 100% increase. Oh my god, hell yeah.
On the 62th day, I figured it was time to try and attempt to fight a boss in this mod, which means we're gonna need to create this, the Omega Beacon. I brought Kimbo out to this area. It seems like a nice boss fighting area, nice wide open plains where we could place down this Omega Beacon, but I also placed this thing in there as well. It's the Reflect Variant Soul. This will guarantee that we summon in a Reflect boss. Then I place 100 souls into the Omega Beacon, and this boss summons in, which just so happened to be this Daedon. And we defeated it quite easy. I suppose it's good to be prepared and paragon quite a bit. Anyways, the whole reason why we needed to get a Reflect boss soul was if we feed this to our Kimbo, it'll double its health and melee stats, changing it from the elite tier dino and turning it into a prime Reflect Triceratops. That's just the first tier of bosses. If we can manage to summon in the next tier of the Reflex boss and defeat it, we can move from the Prime tier to the Apex tier. I just don't currently have any other Reflex variant souls, so we kind of just have to gamble and see if we can get it. Day 63, and we're going on the hunt for some soul dinos. We obviously need a bunch more souls if we plan on fighting more bosses. There's a whole bunch out and about, which we managed to take down, but this wasn't a very effective method. I think at the end of the day, collecting souls from chests is probably the best option. And you need a bunch of essence to be able to open these chests, so instead of hunting down soul dinos, we hunted down essence dinos, which ended up being quite an effective tactic. We open this chest right here, we get a bunch of paragon souls, some quest scrolls, and the souls that we're after. Day 64, we were fighting some bosses, because why the hell not? No boss that we specifically needed to fight, but it's always good to fight them anyway for just extra resources or souls and stuff. I then killed a treasure pteranodon, which then showed us where all of the chests were around this area. These big beams of light show exactly where they are. So I just ran around and collected all of these chests. Well, as much as I could with all the essence that I had. Surprisingly, a whole lot spawned in the area. I just didn't even know about that. And we stocked up quite nicely on all of these souls and a bunch of other stuff too. We collected so much junk from opening chests and collecting stuff out in the wilds that I needed to place down a dumpster. And what does a dumpster do? Well, exactly what you think it would. It's how you get rid of all the stuff you don't really want. Day 65, I ran around on foot collecting some of these chests and killing things. And not for no reason. You see, in Omega, you do get different quests. And some of the quests that I need to complete, require me to kill some dinos whilst on foot. We did get a bunch of items that I could use in the item fragmenter to get some more fragments that I then went ahead and used on our Ascendant Elite Magic Charm. I wanted to try and get a certain stat increase called Magic Find. You see, if you have higher Magic Find, you have a higher percentage chance of getting good items, good souls, just good loot in general from killing dinos. And you just got to keep re-rolling until you get Magic Find, like we just did. Day 66, there was one particular unique dino on the map that I just had to tame. This is Amy the Aimers, a dodo. And Amy the Aimers is a Colossus and Shield variant creature. And go down, Amy. Now, since Amy is a unique creature, we can only tame her with unique kibble. And Amy's going to be a great friend through this entire 100 days journey. It's just going to be a little bit of a process to try and make her extremely strong. Yes, got her. Now, we can only currently make basic unique kibble, which means I couldn't tame a higher tier unique even if I wanted to. But honestly, that's fine. There is a way for us to be able to increase their tiers with a little bit of a grind. And if you haven't been paying attention, yes, we just tamed ourselves another unique, the Warpath. As I was flying through the snow, a rather strange incident happened. Yeah, I have no idea what just happened. My PT just disappeared, and I'm pretty sure it died. Bro, what the fuck? I think my PT just died. It just disappeared. I didn't even see a death thing. I'm confused. Once I respawned, I checked my Omega teleporter to see if I could teleport my PT back to me. You're dead, man. Oh, you died. Damn. That was Paragon too. Very unfortunate indeed, but life goes on. We have a dodo we need to take care of. We currently need to try and get ourselves some dodo paragon souls, because with those dodo paragon souls, we could then increase the tier of Amy. Or I could just go and tame this elite druid dodo. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to try and make the strongest ever dodo in Omega. And this way, I'm just kind of keeping my options open. Day 67, and we found another unique creature, this Colossus Harvesting Therizino. It is massive, and I have to have it. Now, this unique Therizino was a basic tier as well, but thankfully I do have a Therizino Paragon, and this is how we can increase his tier. I put the Paragon Soul into the Soul Grinder that we've made here, add some Delta Essence, and then we make this token, which I then feed to our Therizino, and voila! It is now a Delta Therizino. Also, side note, this one's called Greed. Later on in the day, I needed to help out some of the guys on the server to try and help them get some Paragons for their Megalodon. I dropped the ability, but it's not really doing a lot of damage, to be fair. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that can swim, but maybe if they can kite this Paragon Megalodon up into the surface, I can drop my Starfire above it and kill the Megalodon. When that wasn't working, I got Kimbo out, and Kimbo did the job. Now our server homies could get the Paragon for their shark. Day funny number, and we're taming some more creatures, trying to climb the tiers of other different variants of creatures, like the unstable variants and the summoning variant. Then we began roaming around the map, just trying to kill some things to increase our Paragon levels on our friend Kimbo. Day 70, and our Starfire Pteranodon is at Paragon 6, so I figured I would try and go out and kill some things to try and increase its Paragon levels. Whilst we were out, we encountered a Paragon Dodo, which is perfect for our Amy. Then we managed to take down a Paragon Pteranodon, but basically for the remainder of the day, we just went around killing things, trying to increase our Paragon levels. Also, Pteranodons are quite a low shard value, so there's a lot of options you have in terms of trying to Paragon it in that method as well. Day 71 was a rather simple day. We just hunted down Essence Dinos, and using our Pteranodon was the quickest way to get around the map. Day 72, and I saw that there was a Delta Firecracker on the map. Now, I had tamed enough Delta creatures that I could make some Delta unique kibble. So yes, I wanted to tame myself another unique creature. And this little compy is an Overlord / self-destructive creature, which if I'm honest, it sounds kind of chaotic. I was genuinely hungry for some unique dinos. They're just so cool and I want multiple of them. But a breeding pygmy Bronto just doesn't seem that exciting. A breeding pygmy is kind of like a stripper dwarf. Anyways, moving on, we're going to do some more boss fights. And I was joined by my boy Nugs, who also brought his Sharknado, which is an out of the water flying shark. It's pretty cool. And we fought just different tiers of them just to see exactly what they'll drop and why it would be better to fight higher tier versions. So if it doesn't make sense exactly what I was talking about, you can select different tiers of the bosses you can fight. Now, I don't know exactly why you'd want to fight the higher tiers, like if there's any advantages, and I never kind of figured that part out. Like this Apex Wind boss was a lot tougher of a fight than most because it had a lot of health than the previous basic versions would. But once we finally killed it, all we got was just a soul that we could get from a basic variant boss. I don't really see the benefit of fighting higher things. Also, our bright blue Starfire Pteranodon, I had grown quite the attachment to, so I decided to name it and went ahead and named it Marge. Yes, because it's blue, like Marge Simpson's blue hair. And we could also upgrade it from the elite tier to the prime tier. We got kind of lucky and were able to fight the Starfire boss. Day 73, I was back with Nugs, helping him try and kill some bosses. This time so he could upgrade his Sharknado.
Ooh, Manticore.
was a manticore.
We almost killed it too quick.
There we go. You prime. Then with the help of Nugs, we were able to kill this Reflect boss.
If I just go ahead and do this, and then you eat this.
Oh my god. And now I have an Apex Kimbo. Now our focus was upgrading our Kimbo to the ultimate version, which means we need to kill basically every single Guardian boss and collect the Master Souls, which is the next tier up from your basic boss. From there, we need to use this thing. This is the Omega Altar, and it's inside this boss summoner that you need to place in every single one of the boss Guardian Souls, which I don't currently have all of them. You need all 6. So we're going to quickly kill them first, one by one, and then we can place all of them into the Omega Altar, where we can summon in the group Master Boss. It's just a turtle, but it does have 1.9 billion health. So we just chipped away at its health, taking our sweet ass time, which is why it was good to have Nugs here helping out. It just sped this process up. But just like that, we were able to defeat the group Master Boss and turn our Kimbo into the ultimate Reflect Triceratops. Our Kimbo has now turned into the ultimate powerhouse, dealing a crazy amount of damage. Now, before attempting to fight the next tier of boss, I knew I needed to make Kimbo even stronger than he currently is. And paragoning him is probably our best option for now. And another method for us to be able to get some Paragon Souls is through the Quests tab. And also, you can get stat potions that can greatly increase the power of your creatures too. Day 75, and guess what was on the map waiting to get murdered? Paragon Triceratops. We're in business, baby! Oh. Yes, the Paragon Trike. Kimbo was definitely very happy to consume this Paragon Soul.
Triceratops Paragon, time to level up.
Now, here's another method to be able to get Paragon levels. You see this Omega Carby? You see how it has this letter C right here? That means it's a max level Omega creature. Basically, the most powerful creature you can possibly get. Now, just by killing this creature, Kimbo will then earn a Paragon level. But there's a massive catch. Now, this is a resilient Carby, and resilient dinos are of the Guardian variants. Now, the resilient dinos also have this ability that if you hit it repetitively with the same attack, it builds up a resilience to that attack, which means over time, I'm doing very little damage. And since Kimbo doesn't have any special other abilities and can only really hit it with its horns, I need to try and mix it up somehow. Make this resilient dino build resilience to a different type of attack. And our best option really is our Starfire Pteranodon.
And that. We're going to cook you a little bit with this. Let your damage resistance beef up on that one.
Then when Kimbo comes back out, its resilience for this attack has now gone down, and we kind of just rotate this around for the whole time. This battle continued on to the very next day. This turtle was surely tough, but repeating our little strategy of switching out Tame seemed to be effective.
27 million. Oh, come on. We almost there, baby. Let's go. Omega Resilient Carve.
You gotta go down now, boy. You're gonna go down now, boy.
Hold on. Let me get the trigger on you so I can see your health. There we go. There we go. Come on. Oh, 1 million. And oh, that was loud. That was very loud in my ears.
Wait, we get all of these?
All of those stat potions. Okay.
Day 77, we spent most of the day collecting treasure chests and killing things so we can increase Kimbo's Paragon levels. Day 78, we went through our quest list to see if there was any quest that we could kind of focus in on. I realized I had a Dodo Paragon Soul, which means we can turn our Amy the Aimer's unique Dodo into the Delta tier.
Amy. Come here, Amy. There we go, Amy. Get stronger, girl.
Day 79, one of our quests was to kill dodos whilst on foot. So unfortunately for a lot of these dodos, they had to go down.
Let's go, Vampire Dodo. You want some of this? You want some of this? Oh, Apex Astral, I got you, son. You can't fight me, boy.
This was actually quite satisfying. Our unique weapon and our melee damage was quite good.
We did it. I think we did it.
Day 80, we were able to complete one of the dodo quests.
Oh yeah, kill wild dinos of species Dodo 0. 5 Dodo Paragon Souls. Complete. You know what that means now, puppy.
And with that, we were able to get Amy the Aimers up into the elite tier.
Boom, baby. Elite. Boom, baby. We now have an elite Amy the Aimers, and some extra Paragon souls.
Now, without Dodo being at the elite tier, is it strong enough to be able to fight some bosses or anything? I was starting to lose a lot of confidence that I could possibly make the strongest Dodo of all time. Even at the elite level, Amy just isn't hitting very hard at all. I can only hope to try and paragon her some more, or even try and get a unique saddle. Unfortunately, getting a unique saddle is complete RNG, and you never know if you will or won't. I don't know. Speaking of unique saddles, we managed to pick up another unique saddle for our Triceratops.
We have the Triceratops saddle. I did not even know. Gains Brutal and Gorgon variant.
We'll certainly have to try this saddle out on Kimbo and see which one's better. Strangely though, once I switched out the saddles, Kimbo still had the metal variant on. I don't know. Maybe it's a bug. Day 81 and murder was on my mind, especially if it was a Paragon Triceratops. Also, all of a sudden, Kimbo's now back in its normal form, not in the metal form anymore because we have the other saddle on. And this saddle makes sure that he does a ton of damage. But I'm still not convinced it's really strong. I don't know yet. But our health and our damage reduction has reduced a lot. Moving on, we made some of these dimensional storage cubes. In these cubes, you can place in certain items and then set them up that if you just drop it on the ground when you come back to base, they will automatically go into them. Kind of like dedicated storages, but it's a little bit more efficient. Day 82, and we were hunting down treasure chests once again. But this time, we came across a treasure chest that was rather interesting. This particular treasure chest is called the Hoarder chest, and you should get a ton of loot from it, but also they have a chance of summoning in a boss tier Omega Dino. You know, like a dragon, manticore, broodmother, all those type of bosses. They just require a ton more essence, which we don't currently have on hand, but we can return back to base where I could go to our grinder and grind up some higher tier essence down to the lower tiers and get a ton more essences that we don't currently have. Then we could return back to this Hoarder chest and find out whether it was worth it or not.
Trilobite Paragon, Groudon, Cat, Mammoth, Giant Bee Queen, Dung Beetle. Running on Paragon, that's decent.
I mean, it's okay. Not the best, but not the worst. Day 83, and I wanted to try and hunt down these cursed dinos. I wasn't exactly sure what their kind of thing was, so I wanted to fight them and find out.
Well, yeah, this Dodon's a little bit cursed. Get it? Because it's a cursed pig.
We discovered that once you kill them, you just get a ton of loot. Basically, a bunch of items that are currently cursed. Not unique items, just different armors and stuff. Of course, it can't be decided just on one single kill of these cursed dinos whether they're good or not. So we just had to kill some more. Now, what makes this so tough? Well, it has a ton of health, yes, because it's the ultimate tier. But because it's the fairy variant, it often heals itself. So even though I deal a ton of damage and get its health all the way down, it just regenerates its health and we're almost back to square one. But I am determined to kill it, and we are chipping away at its health. It doesn't do a ton of damage to me, so I'm not too worried about myself. And our patience paid off. We managed to defeat this boss. We learned our lesson, so from here on out, we're only going to fight basic bosses. I am working towards summoning in a master group boss. And the specific master group boss that I want to fight means that I need to fight all the Guardian variant bosses and all the resource variant bosses, which is quite the grind. That is 12 different bosses that we need to fight before we could summon them into the Omega altar. But once we had defeated them all, we could now summon in the big bad boss, Indestructus.
Oh, it's a broodmother. 18.7 billion. Yeah, great. Oh, it hurts. Don't come.
I had Nugs here helping me out, but I don't think he would survive this fight.
Oh, actually, if you do, fight it from behind. Because it's its big attack that hurts. You know, the spitty thing? This one.
If we manage to defeat this boss right here, our ultimate Kimbo will then become even stronger. But we soon ran into a problem. It seemed like we were doing a ton of damage, but if we look at its health pool, it wasn't dropping at all. It was kicking our butt, and I was worried that we were going to die. So I changed saddles back to the metal variant, and this time we could withstand damage a little bit more, but we did a little bit less damage. Well, that was until we went back into fight, and we were still doing 11 million, which is what we were doing earlier. I'm so confused. I don't know exactly what's going on. And its health wasn't dropping. I assume that was because it's a resource variant and the wood variants can heal over time. And I'm pretty sure he's out healing the amount of damage we're doing.
Bro, it's doing nothing. Ouch, 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 ouch.
I was frustrated, so I referred back to the Omega decks to see if there was any hints on how I'm supposed to defeat this boss. And I just could not figure it out. After struggling in this boss fight for quite a while, I decided to give up. We're just gonna have to return when we're a lot stronger. With that being said, I came out to the desert so I can place down this new beacon that we had unlocked. This is the Gauntlet Beacon. Basically means I can summon in a bunch of bosses all at once. Instead of having to return back to the single beacon, placing in 100 souls, and then fighting the boss one by one, This time we can put in thousands at a time, and then they just keep summoning in until you run out of souls. Not sure what I'm hoping to get out of this, but I was just fighting bosses to see if I could pick something up that was good. I don't know. Day 86, we went to go hunt down some max level Omegas so we could get some more Paragon levels for Kimbo. Even though we were doing 15 million damage per hit, it was still a tough fight. Also, one of the advantages of defeating these dinos out in the wild is you get a ton of resources, like quest scrolls and stat potions, but they're always specific to the dino that you kill. Day 87, and I finally need to try and get myself a complete set of armor. So I teleported over to Nugs' base to see if I could trade him some stuff. What up, Nugs? I'll trade you a dimensional variant, no, a tornado variant soul for a gifted helmet.
Yeah, bro, sure. Thank you.
Nice doing business with you, mate. And just like that, we now have a full set of gifted armor.
The gifted set. Bro, you gave me a freaking primitive, the bomb.
And the gifted armor pairs quite nicely with the mercenary sword. It's a fortune sword that like does extra damage if you have it a complete set of gifted armor. It's pretty good. I went ahead and upgraded all of our gifted set as much as possible to the ascendant level. And now I look like I'm supposed to be at the Mardi Gras with all of these sparkly rainbow colors. It's okay though, because now we're really strong, I think. We'll find out. But don't we just look fabulous? Day 88, and this Omega max level was perfect for us. Not only would it paragon our Kimbo, but once we finally murder it, we get a bunch of dodo items, like a whole bunch of these stat potions that we fed to Amy, which actually increased their stats quite a bit. Day 89, we encountered a mini boss that we could actually fight. Now, the reason why we haven't really done many mini boss fights in these 100 days is because there's always a catch when you need to fight them. This particular mini boss can only be damaged by cosmic variants. And since it's a water variant and I'm a flyer, it does make it a little tricky to hit. But we do manage to work out a little strategy that seems to work for us. We drop our Starfire and then we just kite it over to just kind of get hit by it. Managed to get it stuck on this wall here, and this seemed to be an effective strategy. We just chilled here until eventually it would die. And once I killed it, I scored 2 free unique tokens. What do these tokens do exactly? Basically, I could put them into the boss summoner and it'll summon in a tameable version of a unique creature. It's just random on which one will come out. Day 90, and we encountered a dragon in the wild. And I do know that it'll be really hard to increase its tier values, but I still needed to tame this. We just had to take this opportunity. It was quite aggressive, but it didn't withstand my arrows. Once I tamed it, I went ahead and named it Venereal. It feels like it's something from the Game of Thrones, right? Right? Now the biggest question is it strong?
Oh my god, this thing sucks. And it turns shitty. It'll make a good ornament back at base.
Thing is, it'll be near impossible to find any dragon paragon souls, since they're such a rare creature. Day 91, and I was having a lot of fun killing dinos on foot. It also helps on my weapons abilities splash everything on the screen. I mean, it helps me kill things, but it does get kind of distracting. It's quite fascinating how you do have the ability to kill so many high tier creatures on foot. I have always considered doing 100 days in Omega completely on foot, no tames. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that kind of video. Day 92, we just worked on paragoning our dinos, specifically Kimbo and Amy the Aimers. Day 93, and we got our hands on a unique magic charm, and I wanted to see if I could imbue it a little bit, but I'm gonna need some unique fragments since it's a unique item, which means I need to grind down some unique items in the magic fragmenter. I didn't really care much about all the other stats. All I wanted to try and get was some magic find, and a decent amount. We weren't so lucky this time re-rolling the stats, but it is what it is. It's still a good unique charm. I also got this really cool unique weapon. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but what it does do is it speeds up its attacks over time.
Oh, the attack speed speeds up over time. Oh my god!
This thing's nuts.
Bro, my guy's wigging out.
In my opinion, this weapon's more of a gimmick. It's kind of cool, kind of fun, but if it's not that effective quickly, you're surely gonna die. Anyways, I decided I'm gonna try and fight a different type of group master boss. So I spent a big chunk of this day just killing all the bosses that I need to so I could summon this particular boss in. Day 94, and we're fighting the Rage Master boss. It has a ton of health, but it doesn't do a ton of damage to us, and that's all that matters. Because with a bit of patience and persistence, we were able to murder this big-ass Giga. Now, this next master, we could only fight at nighttime. It was the Nightmare Master. You see, part of it's a ghost variant, and ghost variants only appear at night. If it was daytime, it would just be invisible and does nothing. Thankfully, we managed to kill this boss. Now, whilst it's still nighttime, we then summoned in the group master called Sin.
Oh my god.
Which is the most crazy powerful rage nightmare group master boss. I just wanted to be able to kill one of these group master bosses, and it was kind of tough. This Sin is extremely strong.
That answers that question then.
And yes, Kimbo did die and was sent back to the reliquary.
What happened, Kimbo? What fucking happened?
How the hell am I supposed to defeat this sin? I have no idea. Day 95, I entered a black hole. And no, not the type that I do enjoy in my free time. This is the one that sent me into a different universe. Anyways, I need to kill another one of these Guardian Masters. Since Kimbo died previously, it went down to the Apex tier and we need to get it back up to the Ultimate. Frustrating, I know, but it is what it is. This is the risk that you take when you take on these high tier bosses. We made it happen in the end. We got our ultimate trike back. Day 96, just for a little change of scenery, I placed down a gauntlet beacon in a different location. The desert was getting too hot. And yeah, we're just fighting some stuff. I have no idea how I'm supposed to defeat these group master bosses, so I'm just killing anything for now until I can figure that out. I even summoned in an Apex loot boss back in the other place that we fight bosses, hoping that I might get some decent loot from this boss. I don't know. Now, because the Apex loot boss was a wyvern, it was kind of hard to fight. It just kept flying around and it was really fast. I had to call in some backup to get some help. So my boy Nugs came in to help and we got the job done. Did we get any good loot? Let's find out. No, not really. Day 98 and the most amazing thing happened. We ran into a dodo with a ring around it. We actually might be able to achieve one of my goals in this video.
Hell yeah, I'm killing an ultimate siren dodo. That's gonna drop me a saddle.
Yes. Now the question is this a good saddle or not?
Yes, I got it. Half a chomper. Fuck yes. I got the freaking dodo saddle I wanted. If it's Colossus, it gets 900% increased ability damage.
Yes, and guess what? Amy the Aimers is in fact a Colossus variant dino, which means she gets a 900% damage bonus. She also gets a little bit bigger, as if she eats like Lizzo. Now let's see if she actually does some damage. Yes, she is an absolute beast. Now my goal is to make her the most powerful creature by killing everything and getting more paragon levels. For the longest time during this video, I never thought that this was possible, to be honest, but I did want to attempt it. And I'm glad that we have some light at the end of this tunnel. We did manage to get some paragon souls and some stat potions from the quest that we have completed previously, and we were currently able to get our paragon level for this dodo up to paragon 8. But we got some work to do to make her even more powerful. And even though it's currently day 99, the grind still continues. One of the advantages, like I may have mentioned earlier in this video, is the fact that this dodo is only a shard value of 1. Meaning every single dino we kill is going to give us shard value kills as well as just doing normal kills. Now yes, it is day 100, but the video can't end here. We just haven't achieved anything that I really want to achieve. I still need to fight an Aspect boss, which is the last boss that's currently in this mod. And if we can barely defeat the group master boss, well, you know, it's going to be a little bit until then. I'm doing my best to just try and increase paragon levels on our trike. 25 paragon levels isn't going to cut it. Before we continue, I just want to quickly remind you to hit my link in the description below and check out War Thunder now. It really helps my channel out if you do. Plus, you get all of this bonus pack completely free. Day 101, and I'm soon realizing that Amy might be the type of dino that we can take to the very end. As ridiculous as it may be, it's kind of crazy that she can do so much damage, but it's going to be a grind to get her all the paragon levels she needs to be able to get better. Thankfully, we have collected a whole bunch of dodo quests along the way, and we just keep completing them, getting a bunch of dodo stat potions. And these stat potions do help quite a bit, but in certain circumstances, we do take out Kimbo to try and help us kill certain creatures, especially max level Omegas. Day 103, I tamed this elite eruption mantis. Now, why am I doing this so late in this video? I have no idea. It's probably a very silly idea. But hey, we got another elite dino, so maybe there's options there. I don't know. But what we should be doing is working on our paragon levels on Amy, which is what we are doing right now. So I suppose we're on track, I guess. Day 104, myself, Nugs, and my boy Flurry went and fought some bosses. But not just any boss. This was a group master. Its name is Infinity, and it is an ethereal utility variant. Surprisingly, compared to the other bosses that we had fought at this tier, it's not super strong. Although we had to tell Flurry that he had to leave because his shark just wasn't strong enough to fight. The only issue that we found with Infinity is that it does deal torpor damage to our dinos. So whilst Nugs continued fighting, I returned back to base to pick up some wake up potions to try and keep our dinos awake. Then we could continue fighting this big ass boss, but I wasn't paying enough attention. It looked like we were about to defeat this boss, and this happened. Oh, what the frick? Oh, I forgot about the torpor. Thankfully, Kimbo didn't actually die. It just fell asleep, and I was able to teleport it back to me safely. We woke it up, and then we got back into this fight, and finally defeated Infinity. I'll let you finish it. 18.5 million?
Yeah, baby.
Defeating Infinity means that Nugs can increase his Sharknado's tier up until the next level. But now I think I need to try and get one of my dinos up until that level as well. So we summoned in Indestructus once again. I figured both of us being this strong, we should be able to defeat it. But even with Nugs' ancient Sharknado, we just couldn't seem to do enough damage. Indestructus was definitely living up to its name. This thing's indestructible. So we just gave up on this little mission. Instead, my focus is going to be on Amy the Aimers. We're going to have to get Amy from the ultimate tier all the way up until the ancient tier. We did find this max level Colossus Dodo in the wild, so this will help tremendously with getting us to that next power level with all the loot that we get from once we kill it. Day 107 and we've been grinding. We are about to summon in a group master boss for my Colossus Dodo Amy. I just need to defeat these two master bosses real quick, one being a bee and the other one being a massive unicorn. Then we can summon in Anima, the mythical and summoner group master boss. Surprisingly, not very strong compared to the other group masters that we've fought. Now you'll see exactly why I'm so confident. Since Amy is a Colossus variant and a shield variant, its Colossus Stomp does a ton of damage, like a crazy amount. Watch this. Yeah, our special attack from the Dodo does a ton of damage all in one hit. Its cooldown just takes quite a while. Now our goal is just to work on a few more Paragon levels, and then we can fight the Aspect boss, which is exactly what we did the following day. We're just working on our Paragon levels as much as we can possibly get so we can fight an Aspect boss. Once we had some comfortable Paragon levels and we're doing a ton more damage and all those kind of good things, it was time to fight all the bosses we needed to fight so we could summon in the Aspect boss. Now, some of the guys on the server requested that we add this mod to our server as well. This is like a boss fighting arena that we kind of just added into it, and it helps us fight some bosses without kind of causing destruction and chaos all around the other areas. So it was right here that we summoned in Anima. Honestly, you're going down, son. Oh, now you're cool looking. You didn't look this cool looking before. Oh, you want some of this, boy? And X attack. Yes, one massive Colossus Stomp and the Anima was gone.
Ooh, I've got to harvest your body before you respawn.
Oh, like that. Anyways, it was now time to summon in the Aspect boss. All we needed was Anima's soul and just place it straight into this beacon, and then we could summon in the Aspect boss. That is really damn small and we can't actually see it. It's here, I swear it is.
Infection Aspect of Inflection. 225 billion health.
I began fighting this boss, but its Starfire abilities hurt a lot. But then we ran into another problem. Not only was it hard to see and keep track of, but it healed rapidly.
Wait, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing any damage.
This was just like the Indestructus fight all over again. I had no idea what to do at this very moment. So I did what any other sane person would do when you're playing on a server. I called in some backup.
Hello.
What's up, bro?
Flurry came in with his shark to help us out in this fight. Now, our strategy was this. We were just going to keep the pressure on, doing as much damage as possible.
A lot of damage.
Come.
Yeah, damaging.
And then it would heal up quite a bit, but it wouldn't heal all the way. Every time that our Dodo's cooldown would end, I would do my big stomp attack.
Like that, yeah.
And continue this process over and over until the very end. There were some close moments though. Flurry almost died once or twice.
Oh my.
Don't die, bro. Don't die, bro. You gotta think I can do this. Quest star quest is literally the next one. I need you to help. I need you to help. I need you to help. I need you to help.
I'm coming.
12 seconds. Oh, stupid ass. Oh, as long 2 seconds. 2 seconds. This should be it. Yes. Yes, baby.
Oh.
We had defeated this Aspect boss, gaining its soul and turning our Amy into the strongest Dodo ever. Endless Amy the Aimers. And yes, she does a whole lot of damage. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video from start to end. It helps me out a lot. I want to give a massive shout out to my Patreon members, my YouTube members, and my Twitch subscribers. Thank you so much for all your extra support. Also, we've just dropped some new merch, so hit the link in the description below and check it out. Until next time, folks, peace.